Hi everyone, my name is Camila. I'm from Chile. Have you heard about this country? It's quite popular with its special vibe, and all because we just can't live without music. Our people are very emotional, noisy, and colorful. But I will tell you about a case that concerns me personally. We do not usually tell the truth in our family, but when I saw the channel Animated Story, I saw that many boys share their stories and decided to tell you mine. Please support me with likes and comments and subscribe to this channel. My name is Camila. I'm the model daughter of my old father. I have a conservative family. For my brilliant studies, my father gave me an expensive necklace brought from abroad. It had a pendant with my name on it. Of course, I was happy to have it. Padre rarely gave gifts, but if he did, they were always cool. He was, by the way, a lifelong farmer, a cattle farmer. He was especially popular in our area, a model Catholic. The Padre often made donations to the church and to the town itself, for which he was known and loved by all. And as I told you, we have a special musical vibe in our country. There are often festivals of music, song, and dance, and at every one of them, I walked ahead of a whole crowd of people, like the most famous beauty. Everyone called me beautiful until she came into my life, Lucia. She came to my city not long ago, a pure Spaniard. I immediately heard people say about her, "Oh, what a saucy, what a beauty, what a face." Ugh, it's disgusting to hear. Maybe, I stressed that there was something pretty about her, but there was no way she could have looked better than me. I was not ready to accept that fact. But after a short time, I heard the conversations of the neighbors. I mean, we all talk loudly. They were saying that I wasn't that pretty, and that I was only called that because of my father's status, to please him. Oh, I can't describe the feelings I had back then. And imagine, amid that crowd, dancing samacueca on a city street, I heard it from people, and my dance partner involuntarily started laughing. I walked out of there. I was so offended. With my eyes full of tears, I didn't notice I bumped into some guy on the road. As soon as I wiped my eyes, I forgot all about it. This man was standing in front of me. He was my crush. We smiled at each other, but I had to run to the restaurant for a family gathering. He managed to say, "Ah, so you're that Camila." I realized that he knew me, which meant we would meet again. I was so right. My father came into the restaurant angry. He wasn't happy to see me go, but he wouldn't understand if I told him the reason. Too conservative, I tell you. Dad told me off on the spot in front of all the relatives. He only paused when he coughed. We sat down to lunch. I didn't say anything with words, but I picked up the phone and started calling my classmate. Just so you understand, this is considered the most bullshit tone at our school. But I vomited with anger. Why did I suffer because of him? It was so unfair. After all, it meant that all my friends were fake too, because they must be communicating with me as well because of the Padre's influence. But you know what worried me most at that moment? My crash. I didn't want him to know that Lucia existed. So I had this crazy idea in my head. Instead of crying in my room, I walked over to the visiting beauty. I met her face to face and assessed her appearance. She was a real piece of work. She told me that she overestimated my looks. Of course, in my head, I was already tearing her hair out. But as my father says, diplomacy is everything. So I made a deal with her. I asked her to be ugly for me, and in return, I promised privileges to the city. She thought about it and said, "You can't take away my beauty, but you can buy it. How much?" "Give me the necklace." I touched it mechanically and said, "No, it's too expensive. I'll give you money." And we agreed on a few hundred pesos for each ugly day. 24 hours later, when the General Town Council was to be held, where we all had to attend, Lucia came ugly, with slicked back hair, well-drawn pimples, and yellow teeth in horrible clothes. I was fine with that. People went, "What's wrong with her? Is this her real appearance?" A sinister smile spread across my face. Suddenly, Crash stood beside me. He glanced at Lucia's direction and then looked away. Yes, that's what I needed. Diego didn't hesitate to offer me a walk after the event, and I agreed. After that, it was on. Dates, calls, texts. I was head over heels in love. No one seemed happier than me. I was back on the horse. Beautiful again, with a handsome guy who was interested in me. But one morning I woke up and saw that my piggy bank was empty. Oh no! What should I do? I called Lucia and asked to borrow her beauty, but she flatly refused. I had no choice. I had to take extreme measures. I opened the Padres safe. I did it for the first time. I swear. Whose fault was it that the password was my birthday? I immediately grabbed several thick stacks of money and heard a cough. Shit, here he comes. Hiding under the bed, I froze. Daddy came to get the medicine and came out. Whew. Exhaling, I ran to Lucia. Our meetings with Diego continued, and no one in town talked about Lucia. But somehow, quickly, the money ran out again. I canceled my meeting with Diego by lying that I was sick. I didn't know what to do. And then I get a message from Lucia. She sent a picture of Diego. Oh no! She was standing right next to him, beautiful again. I texted her to wait for me outside the cafe and to get there right away. What are you doing? Why? I ran out of money. I don't give advances. But I did pay. I stopped. And she whispered in my ear, I'll beat off all your crushes, okay? I was tearing at her again in my thoughts. There was almost no money left in the Padres safe, so I went for it. Gave her the chain. That's it. You're going to walk around like this for another year, okay? And anyway, Diego loves me. Lucia laughed. Are you sure? And left without answering the question. What does that mean? The other day there was a fair. I waited there for Diego, but he was still gone. The coughing father asked me to get him some water, so I went to the store. As I walked past the sidewalk cafe, I noticed that the two of them were sitting together and chatting. Lucia was looking beautiful again. When I couldn't stand it, I grabbed her by the hair and threw her on the ground, screaming that she was mean, that she was a snake. Diego pushed me away, picked Lucia up, and asked worriedly how she was. You what? Why are you touching her at all? Lucia laughed. Why are you laughing? And Diego said the thing that killed me. Sorry, Camila, but that's my girlfriend. We came here for the vacations, and you're the one who gave us the idea to make money. What? So you're crooks! You can't get away with this. How could you? I gave you all the money in my Padres safe, that necklace. It was dear to me. I got you. I'll get you. Before I could finish, I heard a familiar cough behind me. Padre, what are you doing here? Behind him stood him and a crowd of curious people. I could read the disappointment in my father's eyes. I think this was the first time in my life that I had messed up so badly. But the worst thing happened. My father did not utter a word. He turned away and wanted to leave, but he fell to the ground. The coughing got worse, and then the hospital, the doctors. Only later did I find out that the money my father was saving was for his treatment. You can't imagine what I felt at that moment. I felt a shame so terrible, I couldn't even think about it. Lucia and Diego drove back. I wasn't sure where, and maybe their names were fake too. People looked at me with contempt for a long time. The rest of the relatives had cringe written all over their faces. I went to work. After 2 months, my father felt better. I prayed in church for hours on end just so he would live. My prayers were answered. Since then, I wasn't so obsessed with my looks, and I realized that there were more important things in life, especially since you can't buy someone else's beauty. 3 months later, I received a parcel. Inside, I found a letter and a necklace with the name Camila. Lucia and Diego asked for forgiveness. We can't get the money back because we spent it, but take the necklace back. After all, it is from your father, and also, Camila, you are pretty, just stupid. Remember that not everything is based on beauty alone. Their letter made me more angry than happy, though a sense of gratitude flared up inside me. I put the chain on and went to my dad's room. He'd finally been discharged and was resting. Now I got down to the real business of running his business, and I was doing great. Wish me luck and pray for my Padres' health. Thank you, everyone, for your consideration.